All right, let's do a little teaching tape right here. I love teaching quarterbacks and coaches on different concepts and how to look at different concepts. So this was the interception that happened the other day in the Monday Night Football game. And we can argue all we want, pass interference, no pass interference. I talked to an official. He said it should be pass interference. I've seen this and had this happen to me numerous times where it wasn't pass interference simply because it's unintentional. It was just two guys that happened to run into each other because their lines intersected. And so either way, I can live with it either way. I can understand it either way, but that's not to me what we're going to coach. Okay, so what we're going to coach here is this play is going to be a play that I call combo. Okay, so it's a slant and a flat. A lot of people in the West Coast call it dragon, slant flat combination. Okay, and the way this is normally read for a quarterback is we always want to think slant first. Okay, because we can't be late on the slant. We got to be able to hit the window. So our timing is set up to really go 1 to 2. Even though the timing of both of them are the same and you're kind of reading them both at the same time, our thought process is slant first, and then we can always recover if that flat defender takes the slant. We can always recover and be a little bit later on the flat if need be. Okay, so that's the thought process on this play. But I've always, argued that everything changes depending on how the defense covers things. Okay, and so what I mean by that is if this corner is in an off position, there's no doubt I am always going to think slant first, and I'm going to read whoever the flat defender is here. I'm going to get back. I'm going to be ready. I know the timing of that slant because the corner's off, so it's going to be the 3-step, 5-yard slant that everybody runs. And so I know the timing, and the elements of it are exactly as we would run against air, get back, put my foot in the ground, throw it. Okay? So if the corner's off, that's where I'm always going to start. But where this changes is when this guy gets up into a press position. Okay? When he's in a press position, now the thing that I have to do as a quarterback is I've got to see the cover relationship of the next guy, of the tight end. Okay? So is Tranquil covering him here? Maybe. It looks like they could be in that type of situation. Okay? So he's at about 4 or 5 yards. What ends up happening is Tranquil blitzes, and it ultimately is the safety that picks up the tight end here. And the reason why I have to notice that is because what I know now is that oftentimes when this guy is pressed, the timing of that route and oftentimes the depth of that route is adjusted. Because this guy comes off and he jams him and he doesn't get the depth and the timing's not there and everything is thrown off because of this jam or press position. Okay, so that's the first part of it. The second part of it is if this defender that's covering the tight end is also in press. Okay, if he's also in press, now, once again, I am going to read this slant to flat because a flat route's not really good against press coverage, right? There's no way to gain separation. Separation can happen with the slant, even though he's getting pressed, he has a chance to, find a way to win, lean on him, and create some separation off of that. So when I get double press, I'm thinking slant to flat. Okay, I'm thinking that's the way that we're going to read this. The slant is really the only option when we're in double press type situation. The other thing about the double press that helps us is you always want to make sure that the defender that's covering the flat is not at the same level as where your slant is going to be. Okay? So, double press obviously puts them at different levels. The slant's going to be 4 or 5 yards, should be 5 yards, but depending on the press, who knows? Him getting jammed, who knows? And so if this defender that's covering the flat is at 1 to 2 yards and we're at 4 to 5 yards, we're at different levels, and it's going to be easy for the slant to get over the top of that guy. When that defender is in a deeper position, so Tranquil right here is basically at about 4.5, 5 yards. Okay, so if I'm going to read this, and even if I want to take the slant, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to see the movement of 23. And again, I know it's not 23, but I'm just giving you an idea because normally it's a linebacker type guy. But I'm going to see the movement of 23. And so if he's at 5 yards, so he's at an intersect point with my slant, he's at 5 yards. When I read this as a quarterback, I'm saying if Tranquil simply goes sideways, so if he just goes horizontal, and even if he's trying to cover the flat, right? Because if he's trying to cover a 2-yard flat and he's at 5 yards, he's not covering the flat. I can hit the flat. My flat's going to turn the corner and get me at least 5 yards because he's going to have to tackle him. So if he just goes sideways, I'm going to be leery of this because I don't want him to run into my slant because he's at the same depth as my slant. So if he's running straight to that direction and my slant's coming off, there's a great chance that they intersect at the same point and I lose. So what I'm looking for from this defender is when I snap the ball, does he come downhill? The ability to cover width and depth, right? Because what he really wants to do is he wants to cover width, but he also wants to cut down the depth of, the distance between him and the flat. Because just like I said, the more distance between them, you can complete it, and now I have to make a tackle. The tighter I am to him, if you throw it, I'm right there to make the tackle, or I'm preventing you from throwing it because I'm tighter. So I'm going to read 23 to see if he comes downhill, because then if he goes from 5 yards to 3 yards, no more intersection point with my slant, I'm good to go. So I need to see the relationship between these two guys and these two guys. What is the relationship? Because my read will change, and it's exactly what happens here. Okay, so we're going to see it, and they're going to blitz Tranquil. Okay, and what happens? The guy covering the flat is going horizontal. He already started 7 or 8 yards deep, and he's going horizontal. He's not coming downhill. So for me, I'm coming out right off the bat and saying I'm throwing it to my flat. I knew the relationship beforehand. I know what's going to be open. I know there's a chance that this guy runs right through my slant. Take the flat. Just take the flat right here. Look at all of this. Color, right? He's getting jammed. He's not getting the same depth that we would really want him. It's not a free release out there, but you got to understand the picture beforehand. And that's why I said, yep, you can call this pass interference, but all he's doing is covering his guy. And so it's just a happenstance that receiver gets jammed, he comes off of it, he's contacted with somebody else, he runs into a guy, and we get an interception, all because we didn't see this and understand the picture beforehand. And again, the reason I'm doing this is not to say, hey, Trevor, what were you doing? Why did you not? The idea is, I don't know if he's ever been told this. I don't know if he's ever been told, hey, how you read slant flat is different based on all the different pictures you get on the outside. If he had been told that, then I would say mistake by Trevor Lawrence, because you got to see this picture here, and that guy coming down from depth, just take your flat and live with it, because this can happen. It happens all the time. If he's never been taught this, it's exactly why I'm doing the video for coaches to go, hey, there's more to this than just read slant flat. Always goes slant to flat. No, it doesn't. You change your thought process based on the picture that you see, so you give your team the best chance to be successful, just like this. Yep, could have called pass interference, and we win right here. But I would say to myself, quarterback, I want you to know this moving forward, because we don't want this to happen in case they don't call this and they see it as incidental contact. Then we just throw an interception and have a chance to lose this football game. But if I know this from the start, this guy's 7, 8 yards deep, and he's playing coverage. If he does not come flying downhill to cut down that space, that depth between him and the tight end, throw the tight end and live with it. We throw the tight end here, we complete it, and if we throw it fast enough, all these dudes are running into each other. If we throw this fast enough and put it on him, who's to say this doesn't become a 20-yard play for us, because they run into each other and we get the big play. So, wanted to use this as a teaching tape to talk to coaches out there. Coach the big picture. Understand all the details. For quarterbacks out there, if you've never heard these details, consider these details of everything. How does it change based on what the coverage looks like? How do I read that linebacker? It's not just does he go to the sideline? Does he get width to cover my flat? It's width and depth. Reading these guys to know what they can cover and what they can't cover is what helps take guys to the next level and avoid different mistakes like this.